Hello, people. This is Zyberpunky and friends, and today Shikaru is joining me in this interesting topic, which is Metal Gear Story. All right, so I already started recording.
All right.
So yeah, so last year we had decent news, and even last year there was 2014, 2015. And this year the results of Kojima and and the actual things that he's been working on. Uh, but before that, the actual company um, wasn't very well with him during all these years, like from day one, because I really do remember that he wanted to quit at the very first time. Uh, I remember in one documentary that he wanted to leave before he started Metal Gear.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell me, about your thoughts of, you know, him being in the company before we jump to Metal Gear?
Um. Well, just multiple things. One, I'm not really sure. Uh. Well, I guess I am. I've heard like a couple rumors and stuff about why Kojima was leaving. Stuff like that. And one of the reasons that I was reading about was they were not giving him creative authority over the Metal
Mm-hmm.
Gear series.
Yeah.
Um. Which I mean, to me, I would understand that for that being a reason why you'd want to leave a company, especially if it's your own creation. Like
Yeah.
Kojima, like did his best making this series. Like he's produced how many Metal Gears now? There's Metal Gear Solid, uh, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Mm-hmm.
and then isn't there like
Portable
uh,
Ops.
yeah, he's also made Peace Walker. Uh, and there's like, aren't there like two side Metal Gears with Raiden in them?
Yeah.
Like I think it's Metal Gear uh, Revengeance, and I don't remember the other one exactly. But anyway, point is, he's trying his very best to like create this storyline that he's poured his soul into, and this storyline has been around since like 1989, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like over 20 years. That's 26, 27 years this guy's been working on this.
Yeah.
And then they want to take away uh, creative properties from him. It's his own game. It's his storyline. He came up with it, not the company. And me personally, I do some art. I work on things. I write stories, stuff like that. I have my own YouTube channel. And if someone was telling me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my story, with my own creation, I'd be pretty pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks that Metal Gear can't follow him after he left.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just is what it is. Other than that, I mean, I've also heard, well, not heard, but read that the main voice actor for Snake,
Yeah.
uh, they were constantly trying to fire him
Yeah.
since Snake Eater.
Yeah. Long time.
Yeah, they're like, they were just interviewing other people to see if they could do better, stuff like that, and they couldn't. And this guy felt like, hey, man, I'm the voice of this character. Everybody knows and loves my voice for Snake because they hear me and they think Snake. So I just think Kojima's like, as a company, is just kind of like being slick with stuff. They kind of want to do things their own way. Uh, and one of the people who really backed up um, this guy who did Snake's voice was Kojima. Like Kojima himself, he was backing him up, and that's I think he did that because he could directly relate to him. I think Kojima saw him as the only Snake that he would have as a voice actor and backed him up because just like him, it's his own creation. It's his voice. It's him who makes the character come alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that the actual company, which is Konami, now I remember, Konami is the company that never told Kojima that, man, this is a good idea, because ever since Kojima made Metal Gear for the first time, they said, man, this is shit. This is not gonna work. And as of today, this is one of the franchise that held the company Konami to, to where it is right now.
Yeah.
Right now they're just shooting themselves in the leg, because now they're going mobile. They're not going to make titles for consoles that much. And the decisions that this company has made, it really pisses me off, because even though, as you said, Hideo Kojima made this idea, and not being very free to do your stuff, and it's work. It's his. You want money, and he did it. He made his way to make money with his idea. But if a company it's restricting you so many ways, then man, Kojima really, wow, I admire him to be in that company for years. Because if it was me, I would have moved to Capcom. I would have moved to somewhere else, really. Even though Capcom today is shit, but still, it's better than what Konami it is right now.
Yeah.
And
It's
to
way better.
yes, yes, and as for Metal Gear of itself, it's a franchise that it has a lot of fans, um, and the actual company did not appreciate its work. Now, for that, the actor for Snake, I think his name is David.
Yeah.
Um, I heard that Hideo Kojima wanted another actor for the old Snake, which is Big Boss.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so he wanted to have that difference between Solid and Naked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh, but it didn't go so well, so they just made that the same actor. But
mhm.
it's in part it's Hideo Kojima's fault in terms of getting another actor instead of David this whole time,
Mhm.
because it's not that he did not want to fire him, it's that he just wanted another type of voice actor for Naked Snake. Like there's different voice actors for each character. So he wanted to make that different for each snake, because there's Naked Snake, Solid Snake, and Liquid Snake. So
You missed one.
uh,
Solid disc.
all right,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So in my opinion, it's in what Hideo Kojima wanted to do back in the days was to have that difference, because in the Nintendo NES or um, they didn't have voice actors.
Mhm.
So in the PlayStation 1, they started voice acting.
Yep.
So that was like the the boom in the voice acting, because that wasn't in the Super NES or the Sega Saturn or the previous generation consoles. So they just wanted to he just wanted to just like divide that voice acting with the characters. In my opinion, it was a good idea at first, but it kind of hurt the fans and actual the voice actor of all the snakes, David, that Hideo Kojima made that decision. Um, but it is all business, you know. There is something that it calls being creative versus the company, and being this how do you call it, as business for the people you want in your game.
Hmm.
It's business, it's money, it's being also creative. It's like, if I'm going to be like a director in some movie, I in an animated movie such as voice acting, I won't be as lazy as other people are doing the same voice acting. I mean, if they can do that creative thing, that they can also change their voice to a woman and a man, or
Hmm.
vice versa, it's
Yeah.
cool. But if I'm not going to be lazy on, oh yeah, you have 5 characters, you do all those 5 characters voices, and I earn some money, and you know, uh, there's there's also things that we can call that being creative, not lazy, because it's being creative. It's putting because the voice, it's something that is very important on every game, every
Yeah.
movie. So yeah.
Well, I mean, the way I put it, I I kind of like the idea that they kept Big Boss's voice similar to Snake's.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, my personal opinion to why is because, I mean, you see Snake as the hero. He's the main guy. Um, and that's what Big Boss did. He always tried to do right. Yeah, I mean, he's done some like fucked up shit where he thought he was right and he really wasn't all the time. But it was his ideology versus someone else. Well, specifically the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes down to that, where Snake, Big Boss, actually, where he's like fighting against the Patriots and their idealisms that they want to control everything in the government and the world itself and restrict information and stuff. In a way, he is a hero. Like, he's a legendary hero, just like Solid Snake. So, for me, I feel like Solid Snake is more of a portrayal of Big Boss himself compared to Solidus or Liquid. Like, Liquid's kind of fucked up in the head. He's just completely nuts.
Yeah.
And then Solidus is like a wannabe Doc Ock from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so like if you like played all the Metal Gears, you would see or if anybody played all the Metal Gears, you would see that Solidus and Liquid have two different voice actors than Solid Snake himself. They don't sound the same at all. um so I mean, on that end, as to whether Big Boss should have had a different voice actor to Snake, I kind of see where Kojima went with that. That he would want it to be at least a little different,
Yeah.
being that he is the original. But I also like the idea that they kept David as the voice actor for Solid Snake.
Mhm.
I mean, Big Boss. My bad.
Yeah. So, going to the story, now that you remind me about this Guns of Patriots, right? Uh,
Guns N' Patriots was the fourth
fourth
one.
one, yeah.
No, was it? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you and me are very, very hardcore fans of the Metal Gear Solid. Um, so let's get down to the main thing. We can talk about Kojima and Konami right at the end, right after we fanboy. What will be our favorite parts of Metal Gear franchise and favorite games of Metal Gear. Why won't you start?
Uh, let's see. So, well, really gonna stick to what stayed between the main series of Metal Gear. I'm not really gonna go into the Raiden era one because I haven't gotten to play the games because, and to be honest, I'm not really interested in Raiden too much. But I'll probably get to it soon. But I have played Metal Gear 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm halfway through 4 right now, and I'm halfway through 5, and I just crammed the other 3 like in a replay the past month, so I could freshen up on everything.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty challenging. I finished Metal Gear Solid in about 8 hours. Took me 14 hours for Metal Gear Solid 2, 27 hours for 3, and I'm like at the 24-hour mark on Metal Gear Solid 4. So Guns of Patriots, and it it's kind of killing me that I'm not done with it yet. But uh, let's see. My biggest thing is going into the original Metal Gear series, where it starts with Solid. Basically, what it is Liquid has this nuclear warhead that the government's been developing called Rex. And Rex
Yeah.
is like a mobile nuclear launching tank with gamma rays and regular missiles, rail guns, all of that. It's just a giant tank of badassery, pretty much. And it's basically just Snake's job to shut down the operation before it takes off. And then what happens through the whole game, basically, is by the way, there's going to be spoilers here. So if you haven't played the game and you don't want to hear it, you should probably leave. But but what happens is Snake finally like gets the codes and stuff to like deactivate Rex, but it turns out Rex was never activated in the first place, so he actually activated it instead. And he goes face to face with Rex himself, man versus machine, pretty much. And to me, this is like one of the biggest moments. It's like, how is Snake gonna do this? And with these games being tactical espionages, it really gets you thinking on how you should beat a boss. It's not just punch punch combo. It's not press a certain button to kill a person. No, it's like you got to think. You could like they could tell you in the game, hey, this is what you have to do to kill him. But if you're not doing it right, it's not going to work. So it's all about being tactical in the game, being sneaky, being better than everybody else. That's the biggest concern. So when it came down to Rex, my way of always beating him was uh, chaff grenades and what was it? The Stinger missiles. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Stinger missiles. And then in the middle of that first battle, where you're going with Rex, going against Rex, the cyborg ninja that showed up earlier in the game shows up, and he actually turns out to be Gray Fox. So, and he supposedly died in Zanzibar. I think it was by the hands of Snake, or it was like something else. I don't quite recall. Um, but basically, he died in Zanzibar. Snake knew he did, and he was surprised to see him. And basically, what Gray Fox did was he sacrificed his life to save Snake, because it turns out that he didn't destroy the sensor system of Rex, and so with his exoskeleton, Gray Fox actually just fucking blew the shit out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and gave Snake a fighting chance. Um, Another thing here is Metal Gear really puts emphasis on nanomachines,
Mm-hmm.
except for Metal Gear 3, Snake Eater. They don't have nanomachines there because it's a throwback to the 1960s, actually, where you meet Big Boss for the first time. Um, but nanomachines, in essence, are supposed to like track like well, first generation nanomachines were just actually with Fox die, and they were to really just take out like a target once you became in a certain vicinity of it. So, like the DARPA chief, who else? I forget this guy, the bald dude who you fight Ocelot with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that the president. Oh, President Baker. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah, President Baker dies, and it's because of Snake that he did it. Snake had no idea what was going on. So, yeah, so Fox dye is injected into liquid, Solid Snake, President Baker, DARPA chief, quite a few other people, and it's all because of Naomi. And Naomi is a fucking bitch. I swear to God. But what happens is Snake finally kills Liquid. They go into a face-to-face battle because he destroyed Rex, and like a nuclear strike's about to happen to eradicate the whole area, and Snake's like on a limited time hand-to-hand combat battle with Liquid Snake, which is pretty cool because it's brother against brother, and Liquid Snake is better at close quarter combat than Snake is, so it's kind of it's really challenging, especially if you're playing on hard.
Yeah.
And I've done that, and it's not fun. So, yeah, but in the end, Snake kills Liquid, and they live happily ever after. One of the things not many people know about Metal Gear Solid, the first game, is that it actually has 2 ending scenes. There's not just one, and it depends on what you do during the game. So during the game, there's a certain part where you get captured after going on a face-off sniping against Sniper Wolf, and you get caught into Ocelot's torture chamber. So how you get a multiple ending off of it is if you die on it, or you give up. It's not if you die; it's if you give up. And to Ocelot's torture, Meryl dies. And at the end of the game, who saves you is Otacon. Otacon saves you at the end of the game if you give up in the torture chamber. But if you survive Ocelot's torture, what happens is you save Meryl at the end of the game, and you leave with Meryl. So that's pretty much the sum up of the first game. And that's where everything's really going to be pointed towards in all of the Metal Gears. Just about every Metal Gear except the third one talks about Shadow Moses Island. Not the fifth either. The fifth is another throwback. The fifth actually, Phantom Pain actually follows Snake Eater. So,
Right.
So if you're playing these games, and you're trying to play in a chronological order here, you need to play Metal Gear 3 first,
Yeah.
and then the 5th, and then you would go to the 1st, the 2nd, and then the 4th.
Yeah, the 4th is the final one.
Yeah, that's the actual final.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how the 4th ends, so I can't really spoil anything for anybody because I'm about like 75% done with the game, and I'm really looking forward to beating it. But going on into the second one, Metal Gear Sons of Liberty.
Oh yeah.
That's the name of it. Yeah. They introduced Raiden, and this is where Raiden gets his side games and stuff. And I haven't played the games. I don't know what it involves, but I'm pretty sure those side games involve his own story. So, like, right now we're getting the story of Big Boss. We get the story of Solid Snake. And I assume the games that have Raiden in them pertain to Raiden's own personal story. So Raiden is introduced in the second one, and the whole point to the second Metal Gear, Sons of Liberty, is basically the introduction to the Patriots, which would play into effect in Metal Gear 4, but are also in Metal Gear 3, but they don't announce them as the Patriots in 3, and in Metal Gear 5, actually, the Phantom Pain. The Phantom Pain, you'll notice that Big Boss has his own area and he's doing his own battles and stuff. And the thing is, he's actually the reason why he makes the Diamond Dogs, which is like a version of Foxhound per se that was predated before it, is actually to go against the Patriots. And I don't remember the name of this guy. I have the official booklet here actually, so I might be able to find it. Um, Let me see. There's a name of this one guy, and he's Zero is his name. Uh, Zero was like helping Snake, Big Boss in the third one, and he actually turns out to be one of the creators of the Patriots. He's actually the main creator, and then he used Big Boss as a symbol within it. And Big Boss didn't want to be a part of it, so then he left and didn't want to be a part of it, and the Diamond Dogs became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, going back to the second one, and the only reason why I'm kind of jumping everywhere is just so you kind of understand where everything's coming from.
Yeah.
Is in the second one, the Patriots are actually the main thing here. The Patriots, all the Patriots are dead, but nobody knows that, and it's actually a generated computer system. So you need to be able to have access through somebody's DNA to actually manipulate the system. So what happens is Raiden gets introduced because they're using him as a test subject to see if they can create, by circumstance, a second Solid Snake. And it's pretty fucked up. Like if you play Sons of Liberty, you're gonna notice like game scenarios being very, very similar to the first Metal Gear, and that was the point. When I was playing it, I was like, this is a giant ripoff of Metal Gear Solid. I was like, it looks like they put no effort into this game at all. Until the end. When you get to the end, you're fighting against Solidus, and he starts explaining everything, and he explains exactly what I just explained. That Raiden was an experiment, he doesn't remember his past or anything like that, so he's got no attachments, and they basically molded him to become a second Solid Snake. Which in a way he kind of did, because of all the experiments they put him through. Just like Solid Snake, he did VR training. VR training doesn't give you field experience, but Raiden did have field experience beforehand because he was a child soldier. He was known as Jack the Ripper, and he fucked shit up when he was a kid. So when it came down to him actually fighting, he didn't remember his past, but he had the skill to do it, even though he was only VR trained. So he did have battlefield experience, which helped him in the long run. And basically, at the end, it's a repeat of what Snake and Liquid did. It's the same thing between Raiden and Big Boss. So basically, the whole story is Raiden tries to defeat the new Metal Gear that's out. He stops it, faces off with Solidus, and then that's it. And pretty much the same thing as the first. So what I really found interesting, what really ties everything together, is actually Snake Eater. So what really ties everything in together, which really me as a Metal Gear fan, and I'm not a fan of Solid Snake. I'm not a fan of Liquid. I'm not a fan of Solidus. I'm not a fan of Big Boss. I'm a fan of the story of Metal Gear. That's what I'm a fan of. I really don't have favorite characters or anything like that, but when it came down to Snake Eater, it really opened up everything to me as to how Big Boss became Big Boss. Why is Big Boss a legend? And it really captured me as a gamer and as someone who appreciates art. And so not many people really think about it like this, but creating a movie, being able to produce it, animate it, voice act it, everything, it's art. And so it really captured everything. It went in a completely different direction than the first two Metal Gears. It gave an immense background, a very rich history of where Big Boss came from, and you could really sympathize with Big Boss and see why he did what he did. Um, and so, just a quick rundown of Snake Eater. Basically, Big Boss, his name wasn't Big Boss. Uh, his code name was Snake. He was actually taught by his master, who was a female, and she went by the name of Big Boss because she was like the best combat fighter they possibly had. She could do infiltration, she could do hand-to-hand combat. In fact, her and Snake developed a special type of hand-to-hand combat that is actually only known between Snake, Big Boss. Well, I'm gonna go with Naked Snake because it's easier to follow. It's a close quarter combat technique developed between Naked Snake and Big Boss.
Mm-hmm.
So that itself right there just goes to show how deep that bond that he had with her. He worked with her for years. He trained together. He ate with her. He he did everything you could possibly do. He did with her. But one thing he lacked was ambition. He didn't know what he was fighting for. He knew how to fight, but didn't have the ambition to do it. So, with that being said, it made Naked Snake a lot weaker than Big Boss. So, when you fight somebody, and this isn't like because I'm a fighter or anything like that, but based on what I've seen and me myself, I mean, you could fight, but you could lose. And the reason I think someone would lose, even if they have lack of skill or anything like that, it's ambition. It's a goal that you have to achieve. Once you hit that goal, or if somebody's in your way of hitting that goal, that just gives you an extra push, an extra boost to want to achieve it. And you'll see that a lot in anime. Like, just about every protagonist, they have a goal. And whatever they conflict or get in front of, it is a wall in front of their goal, and they have to beat it.
Yeah.
And it's no different with the Metal Gear series. Big Boss, he's got a goal. He's got to save the United States because his master, Big Boss, defected to Russia. So, through the whole game, Big Boss is kicking Naked Snake's ass the whole time. It's bad. Like, he can't even touch her. It's ridiculous. And I feel like part of it is because Naked Snake is so close to her that he doesn't want to hurt her, but also because Naked Snake, and you can see it throughout the game, he doesn't really have the ambition or the necessary goal set in his mind of what he wants to do, of who he is as a person. So, a quick rundown through the whole game. Snake beats all of his enemies. He beats the fear. He beats the pain. He beats what's this other dude? This dude who's a sniper. I forget his name. Oh boy. And this booklet isn't helping me right now because I can't find the actors.
So what booklet is that?
It actually came with the Metal Gear Solid collection.
Oh, nice.
HD collection, yeah. It gives you a lot of information. I don't remember where all the actors are, though. Anyway, there's the fear, the pain, the sorrow, and the something. I really don't know, but basically it's this old dude in a wheelchair who's a professional sniper, and he's really good at what he does. He's one with nature, shit like that. And point being is Snake beat all of them. So after a certain point in the game, while he's trying to escape in Snake Eater, he actually ends up running into the Sorrow, and the Sorrow died. The Sorrow was actually Big Boss's partner before Snake. So just like Naked Snake and Big Boss had a relationship together, and not a sexual relationship, an actual bond. Um, Big Boss and the Sorrow carried the same bond. And what happened was Big Boss was forced to kill the Sorrow, which gave her ambition. Uh, the Sorrow told her to kill him. Um, so Snake actually meets the ghost of the Sorrow, and you have to fight him. And it's not really a fight. It's actually you're walking down a river, and basically, if you killed a lot of people in this game, you're fucked. So you know how this game is supposed to be a tactical espionage, a sneaking mission. Well, if you don't do that in any of the Metal Gear Solid games, you're really screwed.
Oh yeah.
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 So, like me personally, I kill everybody. Why? Because I just don't want them catching me later. I'll sneak past them, walk up behind them, grab them, snap their neck. It's a quick fix. It's done. So I had a hard time. It only took me one shot to beat it, but it's ridiculous. Basically, you're walking up a river against a stream, and the ghost of everybody you killed is trying to attack you, and you have to dodge them. You can't hit them or anything. The only way to beat it is to beat the Sorrow is to get to the end of the river past everybody you killed without getting hit by these beams that the Sorrow is shooting at you, and then die. So at the end, you have to die.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's actually the only way to beat them. And the way you, it's really cool because you die, but it doesn't go against your deaths. Um, it's actually really different. When you get the continue screen on this, what you do is you can actually press the L2 R2 button. You press L2, there's a revival pill that's actually implanted in your tooth at the beginning of the game. And all you got to do is select that and use it, and you revive. And if you successfully do this, reach the end of the river, have the Sorrow kill you, and then use the revival pill, you get the Sorrow's camouflage. And the camo that the Sorrow gives you makes you quiet. So, like, enemies can't hear footsteps or anything like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Another way to beat that one section of the game, but you will not get the camo for it, is if you purposely drown yourself and then use the revival pill.
Wow.
Yeah. But other than that, at the end of the game, this game, Snake Eater, is where you see the beginning of Ocelot, where you see the beginning of Big Boss, where he gets his ambition. And once you get to the end of the game, you're fighting against Big Boss. And so Big Boss wants you to kill her, and it's really like a touching story because Big Boss is going into this knowing she's gonna die. Like, she wants to die. She knows she has to. And the thing about it is, and it's actually really fucked up, is that if I could be wrong because I'm kind of mixing up. I feel like I might be mixing up stories, but Big Boss was actually pregnant before she defected, and the Patriots took her kid.
Okay.
Yeah. And so no. I'm mixing it up. My bad. This is Metal Gear. This is we'll go into that later. Skip that. Forget that I said that. Big Boss was actually part of the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. No, you're gonna have to skip everything I said. I'm mixing up Metal Gear Solid 4 at this point.
Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Snake goes on the final face to face with Big Boss. He kills her and escapes with the girl called Eva, who had also defected from the United States. So, what happens is Snake escapes with Eva. He has like a final moment against Ocelot, who ended up getting on the airplane somehow in mid-flight. It's really fucked up. And then Snake beats him. Ocelot leaves. They're about to get bombed, and Ocelot actually calls off all the jets that were going to take Snake down. So it's kind of like a truce at that point. And what happens is Snake and Eva escape. So, dude, your static is really bad.
Don't worry, that won't be in the.
Yeah, I mean, it's distracting me.
Oh. Well, that's weird because
Yeah.
I have my phone away from me.
Yeah, it's like brap, bap, 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 bap. I'm like, holy shit. Okay. Yeah, so Snake and Eva escape together, and what happens is Snake fucks the shit out of Eva, right? So if you played any of the Metal Gear games, you know that Solid Snake is good with ladies, and yeah, and so now we see where he gets it from, and it's from Big Boss, who's also good with ladies. So Big Boss at the end of the game fucks the shit out of Eva. And what happens is Snake wakes up the next morning, and Eva's actually gone. She was never really an American. She didn't defect from the USA to Russia. She's actually an Asian spy who defected to America to spy on them, and then pretended to be an American and defected to Russia. So she was like a double spy, triple spy, whatever. So it's really fucked up. And so Eva was actually supposed to kill Big Boss, which when Naked Snake beat Big Boss, that's when he gained that title of Big Boss. So Naked Snake now being Big Boss, Eva was supposed to kill him, but didn't because she fell in love with him. Because Big Boss was actually the only guy that wouldn't be seduced by Eva.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And then and then the game ends like that pretty much. There's nothing special. It's just that's how it ends. It's basically Big Boss finding himself in this whole game, and it's a really good game. Throughout the whole game, you really have to pay attention to your stamina bar. You don't really need rations, but you do find them. Rations increase your life, but as long as you maintain your stamina bar above 3 bars, or at least at 3 bars, your health regenerates on its own. So you don't really have to worry about much. All you got to do is make sure that you have food, which you can actually hunt for in the game, and just make sure it doesn't rot. So, like, if you play a game today of Snake Eater, and you went to play tomorrow, and you had food in your inventory today, all of that will actually be rotten tomorrow.
All right.
So, what's left right now? So I'm going to cover as much as I've gotten into Guns of Patriots. And by the time you hit Guns of Patriots, it's been 9 years since the incident of what's it called? 9 years since the incident of Shadow Moses Island, if I'm not mistaken. And Snake is actually really, really old, and it's because of the cloning process. He was actually made to age quickly. There's nothing that he can do to stop it. So keep in mind, I don't know how this ends. I don't know if Snake lives or not, or anything like that. And if you know, don't tell me, I swear to God. I'll be hit, because I have to finish this game first.
Yeah, so, I finished the game, though.
Yeah, you have. But anyway, yeah, so starting out the game, Snake is rapidly aging. He's got about a year to live, maybe less. And he's still got the first generation nanomachines inside him. But they've also developed a new generation of nanomachines that actually control how people behave. But it has side effects. So I'm going to go with the pros right now. So let me see. Yeah, to go with the pros of the nanomachines first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you exactly what's all good about it, and then I'll go into the cons and tell you what's all bad about it. All right. So the pros of the new nanomachines that almost all military personnel have is that it controls their emotion during battle. It controls their stability in a moment. If you get shot with a bullet, it neutralizes the pain, so you can keep fighting. If you're scared, it'll release chemicals in your brain so that you don't feel scared anymore. Um, stuff like that. So, and it helps with precision when it comes down to shooting. If you're in a team, what happens is you can each see each other's peripheral
Overall.
view. Yeah. So, I mean, I noticed that one part, and I immediately thought Naruto. I'm like, what the fuck is this? The Rinnegan? Uh, you know, but basically it enhances everybody to become a super soldier. You don't even need to go into training. You don't need experience. You can do all of it just through the nanomachines, which is pretty cool. But that's actually where the pros end. There's not much after that really helps you out. Um, because once you get to the cons, if your nanomachines are deactivated, what happens is you actually feel all the emotion and pain that was held back when your nanomachines were active. So, death of a friend, of a comrade, uh, bullet wounds, like if your bones fractured, stuff like that, emotional scarring of having to kill people, all of that is controlled by the nanomachines. So when they turn off, all you feel is that pain. And what happens is the psychological stability of anybody under the effect of those nanomachines becomes unstable, and they start throwing up out of disgust of themselves. They commit suicide because they can't handle what they've done. They just start screaming and just don't know what to do with themselves anymore. They lose themselves as a person because of these nanomachines.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's got pros, but it's got a lot more cons than
Yeah,
anything.
it does.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's really what's affecting everything in Guns of Patriots. And Liquid comes back after being killed in the first one by a transplant uh, of Ocelot. Basically, Ocelot gets a transplant because he lost his arm in the first game. He gets Liquid's arm, and what happens is you see that in the second Metal Gear, and you can see in the second Metal Gear that that arm, when Ocelot is around Solid Snake, the arm actually takes over Ocelot's body, and Ocelot becomes Liquid. By the time you hit the fourth game of Metal Gear, Ocelot is completely taken over by Liquid's arm, and Liquid is revived. And so Liquid, what he's doing is he's hunting down uh, Big Boss so that he can get his DNA, since he was originally a part of the Patriots, so that he could actually gain access into everything and control everybody. Because what actually controls the nanomachines are the Patriots. So with these nanomachines, you need the nanomachines to be able to have your gun registered and be able to shoot it, even grenades, everything. It'll even stop you from moving if you have the right code sequence. So throughout the game, Liquid tries his own DNA sequence, since he's a clone of the Big Boss. It didn't work. Then he tried Solid's DNA code, and it didn't work. And he finally captures Big Boss's remains, but it didn't go down without a fight. So before Liquid actually captured Big Boss's remains, Snake actually meets up with Big Mama, and Big Mama is, guess who? Eva, who Big Boss fucked. Yeah, and Eva actually was pregnant with both Liquid and Solid, if I'm not mistaken. That's how they did the clones. You still need a mother's body to be able to produce a human body. The only thing that was done was mutated genes to enhance the abilities of Big Boss to create uh, basically Liquid and Solid. So Eva, now known as Big Mama, is actually Solid Snake's and Liquid Snake's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's protecting the Big Boss's body. So anyway, after a bunch of bullshit, they're about to finally get to Big Boss's body and catch up with them and everything, and Liquid takes over. Uh, Big Mama dies in front of Snake's eyes. So Snake met his mother and lost his mother in basically a period of like maybe less than 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and that's gotta suck. You know, you meet your mother. You know, there's emotion there, but you know, Snake has always been a cold-hearted kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think it really affected him too much. But you know, to a certain extent, you're just like, damn, that sucks. Um, so what happens is Liquid Snake gets Big Boss's DNA sequence. The army surrounds him by Meryl's lead. So Meryl's got her own team. She's got like units everywhere, boats, people on bridges, everything surrounding Liquid Snake, and they're about to fucking nuke the shit out of Liquid out of the water. And Liquid, thanks to Big Boss's DNA, freezes everything. Nobody can really move. Nobody can shoot guns. Nothing. And then he throws Big Boss's body. And this pisses me off. It pisses me off a lot. Because Big Boss is still alive.
Yeah, he's in a bag though.
Yeah, it's half his body. They possibly have the technology to bring him back.
Yeah.
And Liquid, after getting his DNA, throws Big Boss's body at Snake and Big Mama and sets it on fire.
I remember that scene, man.
And Snake, I forgot what Snake was doing. I think he was trying to protect Big Mama from getting burned, and he actually got the whole half of his left side of his face burned.
Yeah.
So not only is Snake an old fucking man now, he's got a burn on the whole side of his face. He lost his mom. He lost to Liquid at this point. And now he's heading back to Shadow Moses Island.
Wow.
On top of that.
Yeah.
Now, me personally, that's where I left off.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know what happens after that, but I will go into a little bit of Phantom Pain because I'm halfway through that game. So Phantom Pain comes after Snake Eater. And what it is Big Boss basically makes the Diamond Dogs. Ocelot is actually his friend from Snake Eater. Yeah. And they're working together in the Diamond Dogs. Now, I couldn't quite understand the story because the story is really choppy in the Phantom Pain. And I'm pretty sure it all ties together in the end, but as far as I'm at, I don't really get what's going on. Metal Gear is really good at that. They'll be like telling 5 stories at the same time, and then you don't really understand shit until the end. And you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't really want to get into Phantom Pain too much, but basically, you know, Big Boss has been out in a coma. He's got like a giant chunk of shrapnel in his fucking head. He looks like a rhino.
Yeah.
He's got his eye patch. He's still fucking fighting even though he's got shrapnel in his head and shit. And there's just a bunch of fucked up shit going on in that whole game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's so much enemies that are actually scarier in the Phantom Pain than in any other Metal Gear series. So, um, on my end, I'm gonna leave it at that. To me, how the whole sequence of the storytelling in Metal Gear, how it comes together in between all those games, you're not gonna see that if Kojima as a company or Konami as a company tries to uh like continue the Metal Gear series.
It won't be the
There's no
same.
point.
It
Yeah.
won't. It won't be the same, really.
Yeah, and I'll say this on my end, I will never ever fucking play another Metal Gear game unless it is produced by Kojima.
Yeah. Me
So,
too. I agree.
yeah, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to work. It's just not. And you know what? If it does work, I still personally wouldn't even play the game just because I'm a really big fan of Kojima. I enjoy his work. I love everything he did with it. He's so good at storytelling and getting his not only gamers but other people who don't even want to play the game. They just want to watch the cut scenes and they want to watch it as a movie sequence.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like he captures them.
Yes.
He captures all of us in such a way that you kind of lose yourself in time, understanding all this. It's a really good storyline. It's really well put together, um, and it just satisfies you as a person.
It's fun to play. It's really fun to
Yeah,
play.
absolutely. So yeah, that's my opinion on all the games so far.
Awesome. Then we will do a second part of this podcast. So you will hear my side of my opinion of the games that I actually play because I have not finished or I haven't not played all of them per se. So I'll get into that. I'll let's see if I can buy a PlayStation 4 and play Metal Gear Solid 5.
Actually, you don't even need a PlayStation 4 to play the fifth game. The Phantom
Yeah,
Pain is
yeah. I know it's a
definitely
PlayStation 3, but
yeah.
I wanted to play in my full experience with the new console.
Well, I've played it on the PS4, and I've also tried it on the PlayStation 3
It's
version.
the
The
same
only
thing.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. The only difference is you're going to see a slight difference in graphics.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
everything's a little smoother on PS4, but on PS3 it's just fine. So, like if you like, my biggest thing is the story sequence of the game. So when it comes down to that, I don't really care about graphics. I'm a gamer because I enjoy the stories and
Exactly.
that comes in with it and beating the games itself. So whether I do it on PS3 or PS4, I mean, I'll never play it on an Xbox, but
No.
uh, yeah.
Well, I think that will be it for today, and stay tuned for the second part of this kind of podcast.
Well, guys, you've been listening to Shikaru and Zyberpunky. We had fun talking to you today. So hope to see you next time. Tune into our podcasts and just tune in whenever you feel like it. Leave comments in the section below. Hit like, subscribe, do everything you can, whether you like it or not. I don't care if you didn't like this. Like it. I told you to. This is Bad Ninja Channel with Cyberpunky. We're out for today.
See you guys later.